not nipped in the bud. We are sitting on the keg of gunpowder. And so the association wants this enforcement of the guidelines that we have, the framework of the CBN. However, what we don't want is that there shouldn't be any disconnect between the government and we that are really at the last rung of the ladder. We want them to sit with us, let them hear from us so that we can give them the realities that is obtainable out there. They can't just make laws for us when they do not even understand how the business operates. So that is where we are. Okay.
All right, Oluwasegun, I'll take a quick break, but when I come back, I will also need you to, just give us some, clear way to go as regards some gray areas that people have talked about. For instance, there are talks about, the POS merchant always surrounding banks, and they allegedly make the ATMs not to work. It's still Business Insight on Plus TV Africa. We still have Oluwasegun Elegbede with us in the studios. We'll take a quick break and return with more. Do join us again.
Environmental challenges daily confront the region. How can the Niger Delta story be changed for the better?
Join Mamude Akuga at 9 p.m. every Friday evening on Plus TV Africa as he probes deep in search of solutions.
Inside the Niger Delta with Mamude Akuga, the authentic voice of Nigeria's oil-rich region.
Welcome back to Business Insight and Plus TV Africa. We're looking at financial inclusion vis-a-vis the operations of mobile money and, of course, bank agents in Nigeria to ensure sanity, because there have been collaboration, maybe with bank officials, or I don't know. Sometimes you notice that they're always around banks, and somehow the ATMs don't work, and lo and behold, you have the POS agents to your rescue.
Yeah. Just like I've said, there are allegations.
Withdrawals or transfers these days.
These days, you see people with their shorts just walk out of their room to the nearest outlet to make withdrawals. So the fact is, there are different networks that's the different switches, the banks, ATM, the POS, even with POS A and POS B, there are different switches. You discover that the next outlet will tell you it doesn't have logic. But when you see that people swarm around ATM points, number one, that is even wrong, because you're not supposed to hawk.
Yeah, they're supposed to have the visible locations.
It's a visible location. You're not supposed to hawk. It is not bread and puff puff. This is financial service. You have to be in a standard location where people come to you, because you must record your transactions. So when you see people walk around, because they know that there's a limit to what they can load in the machines. And then on weekends, most times, the bank staff have gone home. They only come back to check and reload. So at that point, between the time the machine is not dispensing again and the point they are reloaded, that availability gap is what the POS agent that hawk around make use of, or those that even have outlets around the banks. There's nobody sabotaging. The fact is, we have a large population that the banks, as we have them today, cannot cater for.
All right, let's try and understand something else now. You talked about mobile money operators, you talked about bank agents. I'll need you to just give a bit of a differentiation between both of them. And then again, is this an all-commerce affair as it is right now? Or because sometimes you find people ordinarily, it's as though practically everywhere you go, you just see people with POS, even those who do other business, they just put the POS by, on the side, and they also see their agent as well. So I need you to explain the difference between a mobile money operator and, of course, the bank agent or POS agent, as it were, and how accessible is it to just get the POS?
Okay, so there are two set of institutions that are in the are playing in the field. We have the bank-led and the non-bank led. The bank-led, you have some banks who have the core agency banking structure. They have it. I don't want to begin to mention names. Then you also have the non-bank led, the MMOs, who also have the license to operate as a player in the industry. So you can get provided by any of these set of institutions. That is one. Number two, it is not an all-commerce affair. It is just because of the enforcement of the framework and guidelines that we're talking about that is not really in place. And that's why we, as an association, are talking about self-regulation, because we see that things are going down the drain, and we know what efforts some of the pioneers of this business have put in, and we do not want that to go to waste. So it is not an all-commerce affair. Number one, you need to have a visible location. You need to be known. Of course, it's like you're opening a bank account. All the requirements of opening a bank account are required for you to supply it, to have a profile with any of the institutions that you have chosen. And then, of course, there has to be spacing. What we have today is that you see agents cluster around a small area in a place where you just have 50
seem to be so
residents.
localized.
I mean, one person is serving that 50 people. Then you see that in the next 2 months, another 5 has come. The customers are not increasing.
So how does Amban ensure that that does not happen?
That is what the task force that we have inaugurated now, it's going to ensure across the nation. The task force is going to begin to go out. We piloted this last year in Oyo State, and we saw the result. We went out and we saw that many of these agents are just operating. They don't have any record of any kind. And these are things that are just primary requirements. As an agent, you must have your record book where you record your transactions. If anything happens in 2018, then you go back to your record, open it, and I mean, it has saved a lot of people. But what you find out today is that even transaction of yesterday, some agents will tell you they don't have any record for it. So
invariably, they should be keeping records of every transaction.
Every transaction. Any type of transaction, because in transaction we mean withdrawal, we mean deposit, we mean bill payments.
Okay.
So all of these have to be in a proper book with the dates. And that is how you are able to also track your own fund to know if you are making profit or not. So you don't just get into the business just to throw away money. That is what majority of the people are doing out there.
All right. But I know this in so many ways, has helped a lot of unemployed youths, because practically most people wouldn't just want to fold their arms. School leavers have taken, into this particular business. But then again, I need to understand one more thing. Would you say the banks are, in a way, liable, with this issue of proliferation of POS agents all over the place? Because I've heard a school of thought say that most times they just want to meet target, and also they just go about giving POS randomly. Is this true?
Yeah, I would say yes. Not banks alone now. The MMOs too.
Okay, the mobile money operators.
If there are people that really have this nonchalance attitude to our approach to enforce the guidelines, I mean, there are some players who will tell their agents, being their principal, they will tell them, don't join Amban. And we are telling them, we are not in competition with you. It is for us to have sanity, in the business space, so that everybody will be fine. Now, if all of us come together, as everybody in the value chain come together, we understand the problems that we have, and we see to how we can resolve all of this and have a better business space, better for us. We cannot say, and in all of this, they invest more. And there were times gone by where, some of them were observing these guidelines.
Okay.
But when they saw that some people were not doing same, they joined the fray. I mean, it's now like Banana Republic. That is what we are saying. That's why we are saying we do not want this kind of situation.
All right. We just believe and hope that in a matter of time, a very small time, that these issues that would be adequately addressed, and all of this insanity that we find in this particular sector will be completely be done with over time. We must say a very big thank you to you as well for finding time to join us to look at all of these issues.
Thank you for having me.
All right, indeed, we have been speaking with Oluwasegun Elegbede. He is the National Public Relations Officer of AMBAN, which is the Association of Mobile Money and Bank Agents of Nigeria. That's the size of the show for today. I am Justin Akadunye. Let's do it again next time. Bye for now.
What we do not understand, we will stigmatize.
What you can see is the remaining of the tanker that exploded.
The suspect equally confessed.
A 500 naira they collect them. If you no talk, they go beat you. Now 2,500 they pay.
According to Minister of State for Health, Dr. Olorunimbe Mamora, about 18 states in the Federation are still endemic, with more than 1,000 new leprosy cases yearly. He explained that the number of new leprosy cases detected yearly has significantly dropped from over 7,827 in 1994 to less than 2,000 in 2020. The Voice of Humanitarian Aid's Foundation took to the streets to march against the ostracization of people affected by leprosy and loud about changing the narrative. At her office, the National Coordinator of Voice of Humanitarian Aid's, Franca Emekobum, shared the group's experiences on the field with people affected by leprosy.
Even we that are even speaking up for them, sometimes, it wasn't easy for our families and our friends to even accept, that what we are doing is not risky. They are even afraid to come close to me. They're scared. They say, oh, no. We don't want you and this your leprosy people, please.
Franca maintained that discriminating against the people with leprosy in itself is a deadly disease.
Already they are in pain. Already they are in sorrow. We should not add to that sorrow by discriminating against them. Rather, we should, come together as, people of God, one nation, one love, one family.
Dr. Yohan Akase is the head of infectious diseases at the Lagos University Teaching Hospital, Luth. He confirmed that leprosy is not contagious.
With leprosy, the truth of the matter is that over 90% of people, in fact, that's a conservative estimate to be honest, but over 90% of people who get exposed to leprosy are not going to have leprosy. Okay? So yes, it's not such a contagious infectious disease in the context of how we look at contagion, that if somebody has leprosy,
he was affected at the age of 19 when he gained
with a valid email address and start the registration process. Your permanent voter's card when ready. Get your PVC today. This message is from PlusTvAfrica.
Good evening, I am Destiny Momo and this is the news update. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo has said that the Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, were important in the attainment of robust economic cooperation among governments across the globe. Osinbajo pointed these out in Abuja at the opening of a capacity workshop on Africa's voluntary national reviews for the 2022 High-Level Political Forum and Domestication of the Agenda 2063. The Vice President, represented by the Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed, said the strategic partnership embedded in the SD President Olusegun Obasanjo in Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital, for a high-level dialogue organized by the Coalition for Dialogue on Africa. Osinbajo, who was accompanied by the Ogun State Governor Dapo Abiodun and others, was later received by Obasanjo as they proceeded to the venue prepared for the meeting. The dialogue tagged West Africa Rising to the Challenge of Consolidating Democratic Governance is ongoing at the Olusegun Obasanjo Presidential Library in Abeokuta. And also the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, says it would employ every strategic means possible towards achieving credible exercise that will be acceptable to all in the forthcoming governorship election in Ekiti's capital. According to him, the workshop was organized based on the fact that the conduct of an election in a
elections. Technology, of course, will ease the state of doing business, no doubt about that. And you can bear witness that INEC has consistently improved on the technical side, on the use of technology to deliver its services. We will continue to improve on the delivery of our services, no doubt about that.
Almost 5,000 of the commission staff across various June 18 election, and to assess where the commission stands.
And also Kogi State Governor Yahaya Bello has said that the All Progressive Congress will poll over 41 million votes in the 2023 general elections if a generally accepted candidate should emerge at the party's primary. The governor also emphasized that the emergence of Senator Abdullahi Adamu from the north-central geopolitical zone of the country will not impede his decision to jostle for the presidential ticket of the party, noting that party administration was different from governance. He stressed that the APC as a party, as currently constituted, will not zone anyone out of the president. Debo Lugunagba, in a statement, said the alarming invasion of the airport by terrorists at a time when outlaws, kidnappers and marauders had taken over the highways and railways has further heightened security concerns that nowhere is safe in the country. Under the present administration, Olugunagba said Nigeria has never had it this bad with such a weak, uncoordinated and clueless president with an inhumane, visionless and propaganda-driven political party like the APC, and also urged Nigerians to rally around the party in its mission to rescue the nation. Who made the accusation at a media briefing in Abuja said the PDP has been doing everything in recent times to overheat the polity, distort the achievements of the present administration, and also spread misinformation. The minister noted that there was nothing wrong in having a fiery and viable opposition in a democracy, but not a type that will destroy the country. A federal high court Abuja has declined to grant the bail application of Abba Kyari. Justice Emeka Nwite, in a ruling, held that the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, had placed sufficient evidence before the court to refuse the bail request and also rejected Kyari's co-defendant's bail plea. NDLEA, in its counter-affidavit, held that it was inappropriate to grant bail to the applicant because of the facts and circumstances of the case, describing Kyari as a flight risk. It argued that if granted bail, he might jump bail. And as a federal high court in Abuja has discharged, he said that the prosecution could not establish a prima facie case against them. And as the general elections inch close, Nigerians expressed their opinions on their expectation from political parties and that can deliver the dividends of democracy. And that's on our street views. Take a listen.
Some other party should take over because PDP has been ruling for a very long time. APC has also been ruling for a very long time. And let me just say, they are all based on the same feather. So they should give opportunity to other party to rule.
It's not about political party. It's where do we get a good leader? That's our problem. So we don't care about whether PDP or APC. If you look at the attitude of our politicians, you could see somebody from APC would come to PDP because of his own interest. You see somebody from APC would come to PDP because of his own interest. So
stressing ourselves, suffering on this hot sun every day by day. They should leave us alone. Leave us alone. I have my PVC already, Sha. I know what to do with it.
I don't think the party matters. What matters is the person in particular. I don't care about the party. I care about the person himself.
Today PDP, tomorrow APC. Me, I don't like all this kind of voila. You don't want to suffer for Nigeria. So we need another people may come.
This one will tell you this one will tell you that when they are campaigning, they will promise you so things. They are going to make good, bring good school, food, good road, all this one. Nothing is working in this country.
I think we should try another political party. Maybe we will see difference.
These two parties, they are the same group of people. It's recycling. You understand? They keep coming up. If you do them bad in this party, they will come to the other party. It's the same person. So we need fresh people entirely so that we'll be able to get it, see whether we can get
Current protest, Nana Lux Lamini has been granted a 1,500 ZAR bail after his arrest on Thursday. Operation Dodola leader was allowed to walk free following his appearance before the Road Report Magistrates Court west of Johannesburg. His bail conditions include no contact with the complainant, for him to hand his passport to investigating officer, and to continue to reside at his address. His next court appearance is scheduled for the 27th of May. And on news outside Africa, gunmen have killed 19 people in an attack in a clandestine cockfighting venue in western Mexico in one of the worst mass shootings under the current government. The killings took place in Las Tinajas in the state of Michoacán, where the powerful Jalisco New Generation cartel CJNG has been fighting local gangs for control of drug routes. And Michoacán state prosecutors said in a statement that 16 of the dead were men and 3 were women, and officials were trying to establish who was responsible for the shootings. Germany's Robert Habeck, after talks with his counterparts, said energy ministers from the group of 7 industrialized nations reject demands by President Vladimir Putin that unfriendly countries pay for Russian gas with rubles. Habeck, who is the German economy and climate protection ministers, said all G7 ministers have agreed that this is a unilateral and clear breach of existing contracts. He said the ministers underlined once again that the concluded contracts are valid and the companies should and must respect them, and called on the companies concerned not just to comply with Putin's demand. Now, as business news, the S&P 500 opened largely today flat as oil prices fell and investors waited for more updates on Ukraine-Russia peace talks in Istanbul, while Tesla shares rose after the company said it will seek investor approval for a stock split. The Dow Jones Industrial Average fell 28.21 points, or 0.08%, at the open to 34,833.03. The S&P 500 opened lower by 1.97 points or 0.04% at 4,541.09, while the Nasdaq Composite gained 7.91 points or 0.06% to 14,177.21 at the opening bell. And now in sports news, in a bold move to fill up the stands of the Moshood Abiola National Stadium and guarantee high decibel support for the Super Eagles in Tuesday's FIFA World Cup Qatar 2022 playoff final battle against the Black Stars of Ghana. The Federal Ministry of Youth and Sports Development and the Nigerian Football Federation, Alam Shehu, or YouTube channel at PlusTvAfrica and PlusTvAfrica Lifestyle. I am Destiny Momo. Thanks for watching.
There is no voting on social media. To vote, you would require a permanent voter's card. To get your PVC, visit cvr.inecnigeria.org. Create your account with a valid email address and start the registration process. An activation link will be sent to you. Click on the link and activate your account. Fill out the form, pick and submit a convenient date and time for your biometrics. Print the application slip, which should have your QR code. On the appointed date, go to the nearest INEC office for your biometric capturing. Thereafter, you will get a registration slip to pick your permanent voter's card when ready. Get your PVC today. This message is from PlusTvAfrica.
The Nigerian film industry has continued to gain popularity across the continent and on the global stage. Even with its popularity and growth, it is still to be criticized on many fronts, one of which is that it is a quantity-driven industry as opposed to a quality one. Stakeholders have given certain factors for churning out substandard movies. Some have said budget restrictions, weak plots, repetitive dialogue, and the overwhelming lack of public-private partnership, not leaving out government participation. Since 2010, some positive developments have changed the nature of Nollywood, disenfranchising Nollywood's traditional mass-market consumer base. The question I am interested in answering are Nollywood's filmmakers becoming more specialized in their art? And was it gentrifying? I use the word metaphorically to explore whether Nollywood increased in grandeur, appeal, and acceptance amongst Nigeria's upper class. Hence, leading to fast rise in features of skit makers, brand influencers, and basically anyone with a little bit of fame. And has this become the domino effect, catapulting skit makers and brand influencers into a whole lot of fame?
Put your account number here.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes, my dear.
Thank you,
yes,
sir.
Let me send something to you.
Oh, I actually think I remember, sir.
Eh?
Opopo Temungo.
Yeah!
Yes, sir.
You remember the conference?
Yes, I do.
You will go far.
Yes,
you will go far, my dear.
Well, the Nollywood structure has been of concern to many veterans, and one of them is Saeed Balogun.
I will appeal to the government to give us structure. And the government don't have problem. It is we movie makers. They tend to do riots in the state, carrying placard. It is the National Assembly that should give me a structure. Are they trying to make me powerless? Is it a dictatorship style of ruling? They don't know what to do. The question I ask myself at times is, that honorable that is in charge of culture and code that can give me structure, does he know anything about movies? He's just looking for where to be. He doesn't even know. It is one, we have a lot of us that can bring the revolution. About 5 or 6 of us in the assemblies, we can scream, we tell them, God damn you, you know what I'm suffering, you know what I'm going through now, so speak my language. But if you tend to put one honorable man there who was elected, who was and probably mechanical engineer or an economist or something, who doesn't even know my pain, we can't get it right. It is the structure. After the structure, yeah, the investors can now smile, because if you invest in me, put money on my table, I mean, there, you want me to put food on my table, put in billions and I'll give you back millions or thousands. Will you come back some other time? No, 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 no. When the government gets it right, the investors, please, if they are coming, I always tell them, please invest in me in what I can pay back. I am the president of the Golden Movie Ambassadors of Nigeria. We believe in restructuring, repositioning, and getting everything right. An ambassador means you can represent your country everywhere. That is where professionalism comes in. A lot of people are just coming in from everywhere. We have more than 50 associations, 31 performing. What we're looking for, and why can't we be one? A professionalism can come in when you have a strong structure that can guide it.
New talents are essential for growth and encourage new faces into the industry, but proper training is vital for theatre and, of course, film.
Training is critical, but we need to create a platform that gives everybody the opportunity to be trained, and then also we need to look at also some means of internship on productions, take people on and guide them, and show them how to do what you do. If we look at theatre itself, it's a massive training ground for talents that will end up even on screen. I think training is important, but then a lot of people learn on the job, which is good. But I think where we would get it right is if production houses, also attempt to train, give basic training to people that are not necessarily trained, that are venturing into the industry. You have actors, there are people that are good, they are not trained actors, but on their own, like you said, skit makers, they didn't go to anywhere, but their skits are so evolved that they have so many people looking forward to see what next they are going to do, and then you see they can hone their skills and use them, but then again, it is a factor of the industry having that capacity to train, having the infrastructure to train. A lot of these people would want to, if the opportunity is there, gain more knowledge on how to do film, how to be better actors or producers or things like that, but then we need to have that platform that gives them the opportunity. That's one. And two, production companies also should look at ways of, even at times some training do not necessarily have to be formal. They could be informal through internships and things like that. And then skit makers also, at times when they've made so much fame, they are popular, they feel they have arrived. But no, there are certain basics you still need to learn. At times you should learn also to try and hone your skills so you can be better. That you are popular now does not mean you cannot do better things. Milking that popularity that you have gained now through the skits you do, which we notice a lot of people don't do. A lot of directors will just allow you to do your thing. I've heard of a set where the director just say, okay, read the line, or yeah, do your thing, but at times you should be able to tell somebody, this is what I want you to do, this is the way I want it to be. That helps with the quality. The next thing I'll look at is casting. People cast for the wrong reason. It is good to cast with the mind that this person is going to draw eyeballs or is popular, hopefully the person will help with publicity. It is good. But when you look at certain characters and you know that you need somebody to deliver top-notch performance, and then that character is unique in that way. It's not something you can just cast anybody because of the numbers. And you overlook that fact and you just put someone that cannot deliver on the character because you think the person has got numbers, then that drags the quality of the production.
It is not acceptable for popular faces to just go on and start filming without necessary kinds of training. For us in Actors Guild of Nigeria, it's something we totally abhor and we condemn. So you find that sometimes before you catch them, they are finished making the film. So we are gradually working with the censors board in Nigeria to see that some of these things are put to a stop. You must have a certain level of qualification. Even if you have graduated from school and you have not done this business before, you still need some kind of elementary approach where you will be given some ideas, instructions on what to do before joining the Nollywood industry. It's not all about I can act, I cannot act. Sometimes you see these popular people, when they come to set to act, they don't know terminologies of the industry. When you tell somebody who is acting and you say the director says cut, he doesn't know or she doesn't know what cut means. You understand? All of these things are the rudiments of the industry that they needed to go through. But because we are in a country where everything goes, people don't seem to follow rules and regulations, but we are gradually closing in on them.
With the advent of internet, social media, and instant entertainment platforms, many reality TV stars and skit makers have risen to fame. In this part of the world, becoming a top celebrity is either by hard work, persistence, or through reality shows. As we know that the road to fame is a tough one around here, a few of our top Nigerian celebrities credit their prominence to reality shows which have given them the opportunity. One of them is Seyi Awolowo, who didn't see it as a challenge for the Nollywood to cast popular faces in movies, as long as the directors have a sense of direction and vision they hope to achieve in the movie.
Well, I don't see why not. Everybody is entitled to be able to do what it is that they want to do. Only thing is when it becomes constant and if there's a regulatory body involved, if it's a constant thing where they've literally become constant film and they need to be registered, okay, then they can go and do that. But I believe that everybody should have, I don't see any reason why I will not put who I want to put in my own production when I want to put them in my production. I mean, I see that person to fit the role accordingly, to fit the character, Bible properly. So why not I'll bring the person on board? So I don't see anything wrong with it, as such. It just depends on who's creating movie and whose movie it is. Sometimes you want a particular kind of thing, but you're not willing to give. Give what you take or take what you give, how to speak. If you're going to be professional to the T. Follow your this thing and not along the line. I want to start using the or there's a sentiment of now help us to make it known. If you start a particular kind of way, go all the way down to the end. Professionalism in the industry, I can't say varies from companies to companies or from different organizations to organizations, how professional they are, or their motto, or their modus operandum of how they want to handle things. So, that's the thing. For me now, I can just have a laid back working environment where I want everybody wearing shorts and t-shirt and being more laid back as to probably just someone that wants everybody in a tie. And so it just depends on, the modus operandi of that particular organization that is handling the production of whatever movie or, that is handling that particular production for the time being while you are working, if you get what I'm saying.
There are regulatory bodies, but do they really carry out their duties? How do they manage professionalism in the Nollywood industry?
For us, we have a constitution that we're working with, but we're trying to come up with the memorandum of understanding in the industry, whereby even if you are involved in any show or something where you have been elected as maybe highest winner and all of that, you would need to still pass through one or two trainings and then belong to a group, either as a producer or as an actor, before you are practicing in the industry. Yeah, professionalism, without being political here, every industry needs professionalism. For us in Nollywood, we are grappling with that because the Nollywood industry is the industry that started without entry point and without exit point. And it continued to grow without anybody checking it. Now it has grown beyond bounds that wherever you are coming with discipline, it becomes like it's too difficult to instill discipline among practitioners because there were no laid down rules from beginning. There were no laid down rules from beginning. There were a lot of illiterates. There were a lot of people who didn't go to school. There were a lot of people who didn't see the four walls of any school, but because they are talented, they have made it big and they are now in the industry. So it's a Herculean task at this point. So we're calling on people who have been here before in the industry to so come back and say, look, this thing is getting out of hand. We have to come back to the basis. Let's see where we structure. Every actor, every producer, every director, you must